Hi, in this video I thought I'd revisit the Clever coffee dripper. It probably is one of the most underutilized piece of brewing equipment we come across. And my first video kind of looked at a method for brewing with it. And after I got some comments and some thoughts, I thought, let's just go back. And this isn't another brewing video. It's looking at certain parameters. So I'm going to look at 4 different parameters and try and separate them out and explore them. The first thing I'm going to do is look at water first versus a coffee first brew method. Then I'm going to take a look at the filter itself. I'm going to compare paper filters with cloth filters. Thirdly, I'm going to take a look at the water brewing temperature and look at a cooler versus a warmer temperature. And finally, a bit of a curveball, I thought I'd take a look to see if I can actually brew a cup of tea using my Clever coffee dripper. From my first Clever coffee dripper video that I did some time ago, and I put the link up there, I got lots of feedback about coffee first versus a water first method, and thanks so much for everybody who kind of pointed me in that direction. I'm a bit of a seeing is a believing kind of a person, or in this case, tasting is believing kind of a person. So just because I see something, I need to try it for myself and follow it through for myself. So here we have, over here, in this cup, we have coffee first. So the standard method I was following whereby the coffee goes into the filter first and the water goes on top. And over here, we have the water first method where we put the water in first and add the coffee in afterwards. If you're interested in that method, I'm not going to talk about it here. Others have done it really well. And there's a link up there to where I discovered this method. So let's have a taste. Let's go for the water first one. It's nice, it's balanced. It's got a lovely kind of thick mouthfeel actually, very sweet, very Moorish kind of a coffee, really good. On this side, it's immediately got an edge to it, and I can sense that prolonged drawdown has left a bit of finish to the cup, way too much contact time with the water. It kind of starts off okay, a little bit more to it than this cup. There's a little bit more strength probably to it. And initially it's, picks some acidity, there's a little bit of sweetness in there, and then this kind of finish comes in, this bitter tone comes in. You don't get that over here. So, yeah, absolutely for me, water first is the way to go. So here we have paper versus cloth filters. Now, I'm a great advocate for cloth filters. I really like the style of coffee they make. Use cloth filters in my Chemex in particular, and I enjoy the results. It'll be interesting to see what happens just here. So I've used the water first method, and we'll have a go. And I have to agree that as you can see from the first session, that water first method really does produce a nice, sweet, balanced cup. But how does that compare to the cloth filter, which I expect in a sense to bring more to the cup, but the Clever dripper does bring more mouthfeel anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see what I get here. Definitely more coming through. There's more to this brew, more punch to it, more guts to it if you like, but I don't think it's actually added something beneficial. This feels more balanced. And in this instance, I think the paper is giving me a better result than the cloth. It's a little bit much. Maybe it needs a different grind setting. I'll have to be honest, I didn't change the grind setting here. I just went for exactly the same parameters, same amount of coffee, same brew time, same method. Yeah, I think in this instance, I think I'd stick with my paper filter. So for this comparison, I looked at the temperature of the brewing water. So 2 kettles, temperature controlled. The first one brewing water at 93 degrees, so the water that went into the brew was 93 degrees. So obviously there's going to be some heat loss during the brew cycle. The second one was water going at 98 degrees. So 93 degrees over here and 98 degrees on this side. So let them cool a little bit to make it a little bit easier to taste them. So 93 degrees. It's a little bit lacking somehow. A little bit thin. It's just, there's something missing. And that one's a lot more rounded, a lot more to it coming out of the cup. So like I said, everything else kept the same. The brew time, the method, exactly the same. I went for the water first method. But in all honesty, I'm not a great fan of that coffee. It's just a little bit light for me. So I feel at 93 degrees, even though you'll read and hear about brewing at those temperatures, it's really important that that's the temperature of the water in contact with the coffee. So it's clear from here that I need my actual temperature in the kettle to be higher than that brewed water. Yeah, there's just a lot more in the cup here, more rounded, it's sweeter, and there's a mouthfeel that I would associate with the Clever coffee dripper. This one again, it's cooled better, I'll be honest. It's cooled a little bit better, that sweetness is coming in a little bit more now, but still a lot more happening on this side of the table. So I never thought I'd end up doing tea on my YouTube channel, but there we go. This is to see whether brewing tea using a traditional style of teapot against my Clever coffee dripper has any difference, and whether the dripper works in brewing tea. Visually, I can see into both cups, there's not a lot of difference. I've chosen just a basic mid-season Darjeeling. So I thought I'd take a look and see how we get on. I've never tried this before, I'll be honest with you. This is the first time I've had a go at this. So maybe I should pick the normal brewed tea first. It is a lighter brew. It's a milder tea, a mellower tea. It's much more yellow or amber in colour. It's quite refreshing. And that's a really nice balanced brew. It's quite refreshing. A little bit sweet as well. A little bit delicate, but really nice. Onto the Clever coffee dripper. It's gutsier. There's more come out. And in fact, immediately I'm picking up that kind of tanniny effect. It's not overpowering, but it's there in the finish, and it comes through quite quickly. So I probably slightly overbrewed here. So it seems to be that the tea is maybe brewing better over here than it is over here. And thinking about it, this has got quite a restricted space for the tea to brew, whereas in the dripper, it's got a big space to brew. Might be worth me going back and having a go with a slightly shorter brew time. I brewed them both for 4 minutes. So what have I found out? Kind of bringing it all together, I would suggest that the water first method absolutely works much better than the coffee first method. I'm a convert. Secondly, that water temperature seems very, very critical. Even though you may read you want like a 93, 94 degree brew, that's going to be the temperature in here, where the coffee and water are in contact with each other. You're going to want to start with a hotter temperature than that. And finally, I'd stick to paper filters personally. I don't think cloth filters add very much to this whole brew method, probably because of this whole immersion of the coffee at the start. It's sitting there as if it's brewing like a cafetiere, so it probably doesn't need that cloth to add that mouthfeel, that body to the cup. And finally, 2 brewers for the price of 1, I actually successfully brewed a cup of tea using my Clever dripper. If you have any thoughts, comments or questions, or another direction I might like to take this in, then I would love to hear from you. Really appreciate all your likes and your subscribes. To make it a little bit more interesting, I feel like I want to give away one of these Clever coffee drippers to one lucky person. So the next couple of weeks, I'm going to run a competition to win one of these with 100 filter papers, and we'll chuck in some of our coffee to accompany it. And if I'm feeling great, I might even chuck in a bag of tea as well. Details of the competition are in the description below. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.